I was born atheist, basically. My parents are both not religious. They were both raised in religious environments, but deconverted during college and both decided to raise me without religion. So I've never really had the idea of God in my life, and I've never went to church. So it was really fun when I was like in elementary school and going into first grade, and people would talk about God in church and their first communions, and I was like, what is this concept? I do not know what God is. And suddenly I found myself eating lunch by myself every day. Some parents didn't want their kids playing with me because, I was the atheist and thought I was a bad influence. It got more serious as I got older. And then in 8th grade, I had a teacher tell me to my face that she didn't trust me in the classroom alone because I was atheist and therefore I couldn't be a moral person. And so I dealt with stuff like that from the community I lived in. So coming to college has been great because I've been able to find people who I can just be myself around and be like, yes, there is no God. Now let's talk about other things because we don't have to spend too much time deliberating on this. So it's been really nice.
I grew up in a somewhat Christian household. My mom's not really a practicing Christian very much, and neither is my father. And so I had the whole background. My mom would read Bible stories to me when I was a kid and such, and we would go to church on occasion. So I always had that. Never really believed hardcore in Christianity. And in fact, taking some First Communion classes, I kind of like, okay, this is kind of bullshit. I ended up getting my First Communion, but then I started going to confirmation class. The teacher was a guy who clearly didn't know anything and contradicted himself all the time. It was really stupid, so I eventually stopped going to that, and I came to Penn State. So I was kind of loosely holding on to those beliefs for a while. I didn't officially become an atheist until later in my college career. Like, I'd say going and studying abroad really propelled me towards that. I mean, I was agnostic up to that point, so I was kind of becoming progressive and slowly being molded by my college experience my freshman year, especially. Sophomore year as well, on my way to becoming an atheist. Being a comparative literature major, you analyze works from different literary traditions across time. I mean, tons of these works were written way before Christianity ever existed, and to see the way you take ideas of a God from very early on, the way they develop over time. I mean, any liberal arts education is pretty much going to get you to the fact that there is no God. Haven't looked back since, and I understand everything a lot better, and it's great.
My parents were pretty open, and they wanted me to make my own decisions politically and religiously. So I guess between the time I was about 14 and 16, I just slowly stopped believing in God. It stopped making sense to me. I think my eyes kind of opened up to the fact that not everybody in the world was Catholic. When I was really little, I mean, that's the impression I got because we were raised in that kind of community where just 90% of the people were, white middle-class Catholics. And, once you grow up and I guess realize that these aren't facts that they're teaching you in CCD, they're opinions that a very small fraction of the world actually holds. And I guess I came to realize that these myths that they were teaching me were no different than, the historical religions of the ancient Greeks. So I stopped believing.
I went to the Reason Rally this past March with a whole bunch of atheist agnostic friends. And a lot of people, when I told them about the Reason Rally, were like, oh, so why are a whole bunch of people who don't believe in something getting together? And I think it's important that we all gather together and sort of show the number of atheists who are out there. And I mean, you probably know an atheist. They might not have come out to you. And, they're probably not a terrible person like a lot of people seem to assume that atheists are. I mean, I read this study from the University of Minnesota showing atheists to be one of the most hated and distrusted minorities, and it was really great being able to have all of these atheists come out despite the distrust and dislike of many people in America, and they weren't afraid to show who they are.
I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist. And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.
And I'm an atheist.